everyone, it's Diane, the massage mentor, and I'm so excited. I found out about James a few years back, and I'm just in awe of him. I think one of the things that I love most is you know the anatomy like nobody's business. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And you're in Kuwait with doctors. You're doing all this really amazing stuff. And two, you're kind. You're so kind. And one of the things that I really, really like, and one of the things that is just so cool for me is a lot of the people that I admire most, whenever you do a technique too, you always remember your mentors. Yeah. And I think that that's so important because what's really original anymore, I don't know. So that's another thing.
None of it probably.
While I have him live here that I'm going to say that I adore about him. And two, another thing that I've noticed is with all those technical things and knowing the body like no one else and traveling all over the world, doing all these weekends, you're very spiritual. You do little subtle sayings in the middle of a class where I'm like, yes. Oh, you know, but it's not like, you're not like pushing it on us, but it's just who you are and it just comes out natural. So I just want to thank you so much for your time. James Waslaski. So you've been around for a while. You were telling me just before we started, I want to hear about you going through, because I was showing James this. That's me in 1996 with my first brochure. And you were talking about how you started finding some of your stuff.
So I just went through and just rebuilt my whole garage and remodeled it. And I pictures after pictures. So the 1996 Olympic Games where I worked with the USA gymnastics team, there was a lot of pictures. I worked 96, 97, 98, 3 World Series with New York Yankees. I was looking at those pictures. I don't talk about a lot of this stuff because you mentioned the spirituality. My mentor, Pastor Paul Cole and Ed Cole, just mentored the men, and they go, be humble, be kind, be a man of God. And probably my wife is my greatest mentor about talking about humility, kindness, family values, honesty, and integrity. So I don't really talk about those things a lot, but it was like going down memory lane because all this Olympic experience I've had, you know, teaching at the Olympic Training Center in Australia before the Olympic Games in Sydney, you know, some of the mentors I trained with, like I mentioned my mentors because none of this is ours. So Dr. Dalton taught me a lot of Moscow alignment. I know you interviewed him and Paul Kelly. You know, Paul St. John was my first instructor back when neuromuscular was the hottest trend. Now it's posturology with him. And so my thing about manual therapy is none of us really came up with something new. We've refined it. We've added research, clinical studies, but our mentors keep pushing that envelope. And if I didn't mention my mentors, I would feel like a hypocrite because it's not my stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what I mean. And one other thing too, you took classes this year.
Oh my God, this year alone, 4-day lymphatic drainage course, amazing. Dr. Carrio D'Ambrosia, his total body balancing and lymphatic drainage course was amazing. One of my most exciting courses was studying with Kelly Armstrong, occupational therapist with the Dolphin Neurostim for scars, and learning that every scar that we've had since we're a little kid pulls the tensegrity model towards each scar, and then we came to good body work. So between total body balancing this year, total body lymphatic drainage, I took a 4-day course from an osteopathic perspective, which is it was so far beyond anything I ever saw with lymphatic drainage. So I'm 63, but I'm like a kid in a candy store. But like there's this another piece and there's another piece, and then there's the total body balancing piece, and then there's the scar piece. And I literally get high every time I take a course and every time I teach.
And you feel that when you're taking your classes because he's so excited. And, and we have the privilege of having you with us today. And it's just been so cool seeing you in action again. I just love watching you. So one of the other things that I just have to bring to the surface, and I hope it's okay, is that you're in Kuwait doing all this cool stuff, teaching doctors. And one of the things, and I hope I'm not overspeaking, is kind of trying to do the back door back with us somehow. Could you explain a little bit more about that?
Again,
it's amazing.
From a spiritual perspective, I think this is my ministry. What I do is my ministry. And I think that there's divine intervention. People connect for a reason. And so I'm in Ireland and teaching a 5-day intensive, and shows up one of the top physiotherapists literally in the world. And he was watching me do shoulder work. He's like, he's like, whoa, because shoulder's my specialty, right? So he said, Jim, would you come out to Kuwait? There's a physician. He does the top conference for shoulders in the world. They bring in 300 surgeons from all over the world, and it's in Dubai every year. And he said he has a frozen shoulder he'd like you to look at. So I fly out in Emirates Airline. They took nice care of me.
That's so awesome.
And And I look at the shoulder, and I had to add a lot of things. I had to look at all the total body lesions. Luckily, I have all these mentors. Total body lesions because she had scoliosis, she had spinal stenosis. So it was more than one thing manifesting as a shoulder problem. Lymphatic drainage was necessary. Looking at pelvic obliquities and distortions was necessary. So long story short, we get about 90%. I mean, she's like this for I don't know how many years. We get about here, but I'm kind of obsessed about perfection. So I started to add cryoderm occlusion strapping, which is blocking the gatekeeper of pain. I had just seen the research by this amazing guy, John Sharkey, an anatomist in Dublin, Ireland. He's been looking at frozen shoulders that diagnosed by their doctors, and he's been seeing that a lot of them were misdiagnosed because a lot of these really hard infills were secondary muscle guarding, and then the pain science study says that the fear of more pain. And from a spiritual, emotional, energetic piece, I just felt in my heart that there was some emotional pain going on. So I did a lot of rocking. I shared a story from my own cancer. I said, when I went through cancer, I forgave everybody I hurt. I had to forgive people and move on. And I forgave myself. And you could just see her sort of tear up and let go of her heart. And all of a sudden, the techniques worked better because she was holding on because of fear. And it was all unconscious. And as soon as I shared my story, she's like, okay, I guess I can let go. And then between that and the dolphin neurostim for the scars, which is beyond amazing, the humor had dropped, and praise God, it was like her full range of motion was back. And so I got to meet with her surgeon, who then said, I really think that 50% of surgeries are being done unnecessarily. So out of the benefit of doctors that don't keep up on the research, I said, I think it's because they're not seeing all the research that we're getting weekly, monthly, yearly, and especially in the last couple of years. And he said, no. He said, I got to be honest with you, many of the doctors are still doing surgeries because they're driven by money and pharmaceutical companies and drugs. And he believes that we shouldn't be immobilizing rotator cuff injuries after surgery because unnecessary scar forms. And so we're on the same page. I'm like, is this really happening? And he's like, would you consider coming to the conference in Dubai where 300 surgeons from all over the world are going to talk about prevention, prehab, and rehab. Now, I've already done a whole prehab course for my hip replacement because you would never know I had a hip replacement. But now to be able to do prevention, rehab, and bring in some of the study or the paper from John Sharkey and bring in the unconscious guarding and look at all the positional release and emotional guarding, I think we're going to change the face of manual medicine. So be able to come through these 100 doctors from all over the world in Dubai bring those studies to the U.S. I think we're going to really, this is my dream. I call my doctor, I go, rotator cuff injury. Oh, Diane down the road's got, 13 therapists in her clinic and they specialize in soft tissue. Could I send my patient over to Diane? And what I admire about you, Diane, is that you keep bringing me back, paying your own money for your staff to just raise the bar. There's not some corporate companies do that, but very few individuals pay me, very, very few invest in the outcome of the quality of the therapist within their clinic. I'm really impressed with that.
And it's so important. Well, you're like the whole deal. You're the whole package. Like I said, you have so much. And I want to bring it back because to me, this is really important because a lot of times therapists are like, dun, 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 I've been certified in this and I gotta go. But you talk.
my wife would go like, seriously, I love her for that.
And I love how much you talk about your wife. It's so important.
She's been great for me.
So awesome. One of the things you were talking about, and I just want to hit on this again because I just think it's so important, is that whole the fear, like easing the fear. Like when we work, it's like bringing down the guards, no matter what type of massage we're doing or what atmosphere we work in. It's remembering that this person has pain for so many reasons that we don't even know.
I agree, Diane. And I think that in my younger years of teaching, I felt like I had to stay on the science, even though I'm a very strong, intuitive, spiritual being thrust into a scientific world. So I needed to know bones, ligaments, nerve, joints, capsule. I need to know all that, but I still pay attention to the breath. And I don't need to know their story, Dan, but if they've been physically abused, mentally abused, emotionally, it's still in those tissues, and they need to be the position release, the trust, the love, the compassion has to supersede the technique. And I think there's too many technique junkies that are trying to fix somebody instead of facilitating the emotional, spiritual, energetic, postural, structural connection, reconnection to neuroplasticity of the brain, and the brain's changing the process of the pain. And I'm very blessed because that intuitive gift was always with me.
Mm-hmm. And it's just in. I think it's in there.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things too that as I'm sitting here and talking to you, as I'm getting fired up about too, is, at first glance, you and I are pretty different in a lot of ways, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And some of our techniques might be different, but at the core of so many of us out there really trying to make this thing happen, really trying to put it in the front line, trying to help people take better care of themselves and avoid surgeries and find out what it is, what's really going on. There is just such a similarity between many people who are out there trying to do this thing. And for me, like by putting my guard down and having James, I've just discovered this awesome man. You're an amazing man. Like I said, if you guys have a chance to take one of James's class and you have not, you really need to check him out, because you're not going to find too many people who know anatomy, who travel all around the world and really have dedicated their lives to this, to our industry. It's just amazing. And not only that, that passion is starting to creep into doctors and Kuwait and around the world. And we have no one but your wife to thank.
Actually, I have to tell you that's the truth, though, because her greatest desire in me was to become more humble, more spiritual, more of a man of God. And she shaped that. So I would not be where I'm at today had it not been for that beautiful lady.
And she is beautiful.
And beautiful, but more as much here. Amazing. I would not be where I'm at.
Isn't that so cool how relationships can do that for us if we let them?
Exactly. And I feel like I've known you forever because we do have so many common. Like, it's really kind of cool sitting here going, wow, she reminds me of me. No, not in an ego way, just in a way of, what do we all want to feel? Love?
Yes.
Cared?
Yes.
We want the hurt to go away, physically, emotionally, energetically. And I'm just really excited. I think what we're all doing together as a team of colleagues that lead this profession is we're going to eventually change the face of medicine. I really believe that we will be forefront medicine, not complementary, not alternative. When this gets into the medical schools, and it will, we're going to be busy.
So again, like I said, this gentleman is out there changing things, and I think it's easy sometimes too for people to stand back and well, until you're in the arena and you're doing 45 classes a week and you're in Kuwait teaching doctors, like right here, it's happening. He's doing it. I'm just so thankful to you and your family and your wife, and I'm so thankful for you to be here with me and my team today. How lucky are we? And it's just such an honor to get to know you, James, and I look forward to a long relationship.
You too, Diana. It's just an honor to be here today. Thank you.
Do you have anything else? Any last words?
Oh, you did mention 45 a week. I don't do 45 a week. I do 45 a year.
A year.
But I do want to share some of the wisdom that my wife shared with. I want to encourage people. Number one, believe in it. We have something in our heart that we're born with that we can be so great with. My daughter works with dogs, and despite her autism and dyslexia, she excelled beyond what our counselors ever said. But believe in your heart, listen to your heart, set goals, surround yourself by great, loving people like yourself, and just know that we're going to change the face of manual medicine.
We can do this.
Exactly.
We can do this. Thanks for all your hard work, and thank you so much for your time.
You're
I really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. He was here live, and
That's
it was
cool.
a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks.